Alrighty. Week starting 26th of May to 30th of May. Now, not too bad, to be honest. Took a W on Tuesday, took a W on Thursday, and then we'll get to Friday. Should have been a W. Um, Very annoying one, but we'll get to it. Not a bad way to finish the month because if you look at this, it's not been too good, but beauty is kept the losses low, kept the risk down this month, and the last week has pulled us through. 4.48 for the month. It isn't actually that bad, to be honest. But yeah, so let's get the charts. Monday, I did not trade, and kind of gonna skip over it because it was bank holiday. So I just don't trade them. So if we go to Tuesday, what did I see? So I've kind of marked out these wee things in purple. It's a wee purple circle, and it's just gonna be like the main reasons for the trade. Just thought it would help indicate them a bit more. Don't know, but anyway. So what happened here? Market opened up. We're expecting bearish. We came down. There's this little low over here in the M1. Um, is it doing a whole lot? Don't know, but it turtle souped it, and this is a 1 hour as well. We tapped into. Now, looking at a low, you don't exactly know if it's going to actually do anything, right? You don't know if that low has liquidity. Is it going to give a reaction, whatever? You don't actually know. No one actually knows. So you got to wait. So what actually happened after it took it? So we turtle souped it, which means the wick took it, and we shot back up. No close below. We also tapped into this 1 hour. So this is our first bit. This is our manipulation. So manipulation and a respect. Okay. We start pushing up. We tap into this SIBI to continue lower, and we do get a reaction off that. I seen that, and I was like, okay, this is just not going to work, and we're going to continue lower. So I was waiting to see what was going to happen with this candle. This candle was literally the saving grace candle, if you want to call it that. So look at the way it closed. That's why I've put the wee circle over it. Look at the way it closed. See that close? It just ate that candle up, if you want to put it that way, to be honest. Ate that little black candle up, and that was literally instantly just told me, no, wait. So then I waited. 2 more candles, 2 more minutes. Boom, boom. As soon as we got the inverse, I just entered straight after on that wick and held for 30 points. So you could have held to this high, you could have held up here, it went very far, to be honest. But my whole thing's 30 to 50 points, so whatever works for me, right? Whatever I'm feeling on that day. Remember, this was my first trade in a minute, to be honest, with proper risk. So yeah, I was being a bit safe with 30 points. Could have went 50, but just kept 30. All right, so saw everything I want for this, and that's the reason why. If we go look at Wednesday, I did not take a trade. Annoyingly, it was the best day of the week. If anyone caught anything on Wednesday, it was literally the best day by like a long shot. Yeah, so you see limit order here. I'll tell you what I mean by that. So we come up here, we soup this high. We also make a massive SMT. Pretty sure it was on the 15-minute with ES. It was probably on a lot of time frames because it was a big SMT. So we have a big SMT. We turtle soup this just after market open. Now what happened? We can't just enter off that. Maybe we could have in February, but we definitely can't in May. All right, so we know what it's like. So I've marked out each thing here. Forget about that with something else, but marked out each thing here in the purple. So turtle soup, SMT, we push down. What do? We inverse this, and that was it for me. That was literally it. That's perfect trade. Aiming for 50 points or this low, which ended up being about 47. I put a limit order right here. As soon as this candle closed, I put a limit order here to set it. Boom, trade, sell limit. Put it right there. Right there. Price comes up, misses it by literally, I'm talking, what's that? One point 25. Whatever that is. Like, are you serious right now? I know it's my fault. It is completely my fault. I should have just market executed here. I was being picky because I wanted my stop loss to be like exactly there for like basically 20 points. So that's what I get for being too perfect. You never try and be too perfect. I've seen this happen with other people before. There's one guy I know actually, and he literally tries to be so perfect every single time, and the price just misses his limit order every time. So that was completely on me. But yeah, this is the best trade of the week easily because it's just bread and butter, right? Charles Soup, SMT, at the right timing, inverse as well for confirmation. Boom. That should work basically like 80% of the time, if not more. That's 80% model right there. That's the bread and butter. Recently we haven't been having a whole lot of it, but that was the first time in a while. So very annoyed that I didn't get in this, but I guess the end of the day is it's the trade I saw. I literally called it like candle by candle. Um, but yeah, just a bit silly I didn't get in it, to be honest. Anyway, so moving on to Thursday. I don't know what I was looking at here. I think I was just dilly dallying with some things. But yeah, this was it was nice Wednesday here, and then it just was cooked again. So yeah, but at least it was nice after market open for once. Boom, boom, boom. Thursday. Here we go. So I took a short on Thursday. Zoom out a little bit. We can see we are overall bullish, or sorry, not bullish, bearish that day anyway. After we pushed up massively on Wednesday, it's obviously a bit of a rebalance. So came down, looked like we're rebalancing here. Just before market open, I think it was, or just before market open, we came up. We took this, this little high here, and we had a reaction off it, retested it, and continued down. Alright, so that was market open. Boom, just shot straight down. Tapped into this. I think this was a 15. Yeah, this was a 15. I remember actually. This was a 15, so we tapped into it, reacted off. Boom, straight back down. So what I was waiting for here, this purple is for the 15 minute, by the way, and the 5 minute as well, kind of for both. But what I was waiting for is the 15 minute to close. So I was waiting for 45. 45 closed. We got that close below this 15, which confirmed that we're probably going to go further down. Also, little trick for you. Little trick. This basically happens almost every time. But when the market moves, like look, we moved 206 points, right? 206 points straight down with like no pullback. If you want to call one candle a pullback, you can. But yeah, 209 points with no pullback. We're probably going to continue down. And the same goes for if we went up like 180 points or something. We're probably going to continue to go up for a little bit. For the time that I trade, that's what's going to happen most of the time, all right? Don't quote me on this, but most of the time this is what happens, okay? So when I knew I was almost looking for longs here. After I saw this start building up, I was thinking about longs. And then I quickly changed my mind because I just remembered that we had moved like 200 and something points. I was like, oh, whoa. I'm not long on that. Because what you're doing is you're basically trying to catch a falling knife, and that's just dumb. So don't do that. This right here is a 5 minute. We ended up coming up and wicking it. And then as you see, this candle just shot straight down. We saw that in 5 minute too with a nice wick. We left this Sibby here. And then basically I entered just after this. I remembered yesterday, the day before, with the limit order here, and I was like, you know what, I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing the limit order. I'm not letting it get me again. So I just market executed somewhere here. Now, I was close to getting out of this thing. When it does this, I would normally get out because my kind of trades, in the time I take them, they're very fast trades, and they displace almost straight away within like a couple minutes. Instead, this sat here for what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 minutes before we had that push. You can maybe call it 7. Yeah, 7. So 7 minutes. Was close to closing it. Glad I didn't. But yeah, so I was just literally aiming for this low. That's all I was looking. So ended up being what, 37 points. Stop originally was here, but as soon as we were respecting this nicely and we'll have this wee wick up into the 50%, I just moved it down to like something around that. Just to cover the top of this. Now, you could have held this far longer. I think we were coming for lows. Yes. which we did hit, after a bit of time. But you could have held all the way down there if you wanted to. That would have been 200 points again. There you go. So that would have been a big one. But for me, it's just base hits. Every day I just look for my base hits. So 30 to 50 points depends on, what I'm looking for. For instance, this low was here, so I just targeted it, and it ended up being 37 points. All right, so I could just stick it here and say, oh, I want 50 points. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to put it right here. But what if price comes down, wicks this low, to then go higher again? Because we did have this push, so we might be doing the double manip to go higher. Big chance of that happening. And why would I stress for 13 more points? And then what happens is it turtle soups that, spikes back up, and takes me out for 17 points. You know what I mean? I don't really do BEs, by the way, so yeah. Because my trades aren't long enough for BEs, and I wouldn't want to set BE until this is actually broken and closed below, so I wouldn't set BE until that candle closes there. So, you know what I mean? For my type of trades, I don't do BE. So yeah, that was the short on Thursday. Now, we're going to get to Friday. Friday, very annoying day. It was last Friday of the month, which is normally terrible PA, by the way. So I really wasn't expecting much, to be honest. I wasn't even going to take a trade. I was almost just going to not even turn up. I was just going to be like, you know what, I'm going to just leave it. Same as I did Monday, just leave it and enjoy my weekend, Because Friday can be a make or break sometimes for a weekend. It hasn't been in a long time. But if you go on tilt or something on Friday, your weekend's ruined. I'm not going to lie. But I haven't been tilting for a very long time. So, yeah. What do we see here on Friday? We had news at 8:09. Bit of a weird one. Yeah, bit of a weird one. I don't know. I think this was to do with the tariffs. I think they cancelled them or something. Something like that. I don't know. I haven't been keeping too much on the whole tariff situation. I just look for this, okay? This is literally what I look for. This, what are we talking here? Half an hour? An hour? But an hour, right? It's all I care about is that hour, pretty much, okay? Obviously, I do my higher time frame as well and just see, where we're looking to go overall. But for me, this was my draw down here, all right? So this was my draw. You may ask why. Okay. So I basically look for manipulation before my trades. Here is my manipulation at market open as well. Market open manipulation is a great one for me. If I can see market open manipulation and then price is continuing in the opposite direction of the manipulation and respecting it, like it did here. So we manipulated to go lower. And what do we do? Boom, respect. Boom, respect. Boom, respect. Lower, lower, lower. So I like that. That's a great one for me, all right? So we're coming down, respecting that. Start to go lower. Pull back here. Had an SMT. Now, I actually didn't enter off the SMT, by the way. But that was extra confirmation. We came up. We wicked this. Oh, no. I don't think it came up first. Right, okay. I think it was here. I got a really bad entry on this, by the way. Yeah, I think it was here. So what I did was, this is how it looked. I entered here. Literally right here. I know it's a bit bad, but if you want to look at it this way. Boom, 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 boom. We are closing under 50% of this busy. After having manipulation up here and going bearish, under 50% is enough confirmation. I don't need the full inverse because we're in a continuation trade. If it's a reversal, I want the full inverse. I need so much confirmation because you're literally trying to reverse the whole market, right? You're trying to catch a falling knife most of the time, or a flying knife if you want to think of it that way. But because we're catching the continuation, catching the wave, as they may say, this close below the 50% was enough confirmation. So I didn't want to miss out on it. I didn't want to do no limit order like I usually would. I'd usually probably limit order 50% of this little range here. Probably limit order something like that, just so I can get good RR. I'm a big RR guy, but because of the way the market's been lately, if I see something good, I genuinely just want to take it. So that's what I did. Entered here, stops were here. Really big stop loss for me, to be honest. But it was lower risk. It was low risk for that Friday, but it was looking good, so I just got in it anyway. We came up, we created an SMT here, and then we shot down, and I think it was literally, yeah, it was literally this candle. When we closed here, I moved this right there. I moved it right there, all right? Now, we're going to get to this, okay? So, I moved it right here. What happens, all right? I go off the screen too. This is the funnier part is I go off the screen. I went to look at something in Discord or something like that. I can't remember what it was. I wanted to reply to someone. I went off the screen for a minute. I come back on the screen. Boom. I've been wicked out. And price is like down here. It's like down here already. And I'm like, you cannot be serious. 1 point wick. Now, I was annoyed because I saw this go all the way to my TP at 50 points, right? All the way. Literally in 1, 2, 3 minutes, 50 points hit. Perfect, right? What a great way to end the week. Would have been amazing. Alright? But no. No. I got wicked out by 1 point. Now, is it my fault for moving the stop? Yes. At the same time though, this should have worked. SMT pushed away from it. It really shouldn't have came up here. Now, what really annoyed me was when I heard someone talking about NQ, because I'm on MNQ because of the account size. And I was like, hold on, let me check NQ. So I go on NQ. So let me bring it up. Let me bring up NQ so you can see it. Alright. Boom. Let me bring up NQ. Alright. And let me go to Friday. Okay. Look at this. Right. Look at this. What is this? Huh? What do you see here? What's different about this? If you comment what's different, if you can see it, I'm gonna tell you anyway. But look at this. Look. Where is the wick? There's no wick. So yeah, M and Q basically did me dirty. This is what it should have looked like, you know. This is what it should have looked like. Of course, what that SMT would pushed away from it. We should have been respecting this. All right, but MNQ just for whatever reason decided, yeah, we're just gonna wick that, whatever. Made me really miss NQ, to be honest. But what can you do? What can you do? Like, so yeah, this was quite annoying, I have to say, because this was a good trade too, and I called it tick for tick too. I was literally calling it the entire way down. I was like, if this happens, I'm getting in, and it did. So, but it's one of those trades. Again, it's like Wednesday. The two probably best trades of the week for me are the two that I got sort of screwed on. Wednesday, called it candle for candle since it came manipulated and started going down, candle for candle for me to enter. Try to get a perfect entry with a limit order, which I never really do, to be honest. Don't know why I did that day. And it missed my limit by 1 point, right? And that was a great trade too. Would have run like 50 points or something. So it was a banger. That was like 2% in the account. This one again, same thing. Called it candle for candle. As soon as I saw this, I was calling it candle for candle. I will enter when this happens. When it goes below the 50%. We've got manipulation. We've got this. We've got that. We've got the drawdown here. Clearly, we want to come for it. You know, data lows or whatever you want to call it, right? We didn't actually come for data lows, did we? Oh, well, we did eventually. Well, this is why I don't aim for exactly stuff like data lows for these wicks, because you know it ended up being that wick we took, not the actual data low, but whatever. That's for a different day. But yeah, the two best trades of the week I got screwed on by 1 point. So limit order screwed on for 1 point, and then this MNQ wicked me by 1 point, and NQ did not. So look, it is what it is. It could have been an absolutely insane week. It was a good week. Like, I'm actually not mad because that's kind of silly. Look, it was a good week, okay? If this would come up, thank you. Yeah, look, it was a good week, okay? Oh, actually, okay, that wasn't low risk on Friday, actually. Tell a lie. That's even worse. It actually wasn't low risk. But, yeah, it would have been a banger. It would have been 2% Wednesday and 2% Friday as well. So, yeah, that would have been an insane week. That would be what? Almost 5%. Almost 5% a week. That would have been crazy. Would have been like March all over again. That was like every week in March. But, you know, what can we do? So, there's not much I can do about that, to be honest. But, yeah, that's me for this week. At least it was good, and hopefully we continue with this better PA. You know, it's actually tradable. It's a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's more tradable. It's not like these last 2 weeks we had is just genuinely like just horrible. All right, so yeah, that is me.